All right. Yeah, welcome back to the continuation of morphometric analysis in 3D. Last part, we discussed some landmark acquisitions, and we saw some tools that we use to acquire our landmark data in 3-dimensional. And we also discussed briefly about error assessment, which I explained how to collect the data for error assessment. And we discussed semi-landmark by using sliding method. So here under this part, we want to look at how to visualize our landmark data. And the first thing we look at is GPA. GPA, General Procrust Analysis, which otherwise called Procrust superimposition of landmark data. If you remember, this is our landmark data that we collected, because I only did two, first and second last time, for us. So I continued to digitize the rest of them, which I digitized completely. You can see here we have a total of 27 male, 27 females. So which is 54 landmark data, 54 specimen here. So for the mesh, at the same time, I also showed us how to collect data for our error assessment, which I did here. I also went for that. I digitized, this is our error assessment data for the F01, F02. So I collected 3 females and 3 males. So I digitized them twice. So this female was digitized twice. That's why you have F01, F01 in two places. Same thing with F02 in 2 places, F02 in 2. So these are 3 females, these 3 males at the same time. So you can digitize your own 5 times. So I mean you have F01, 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 F01 in 5 places. You can see that they are both the same specimen, but they have different. You can see some discrepancy here. So you see some variability in their data, in their dimensional data. You can see 27.4264 and 27.9822, 20.36, 20.339. You can see some differences. So automatically this error we also always call when you digitize landmark data. If you digitize the same data, one specimen 10 times, you always have this error. This is called digitization error. It can never be accurate. So that's why we always account for digitizing error in landmark data. Alright, so now we want to visualize the data, but before we do that, we can do this separately. I mean, this particular landmark data we have done, but I want to include our error assessment data with this so that we can do together once and for all. Normally, under normal circumstances, we are supposed to do this separately for the analysis of a landmark data. But for error assessment, you now add this error data to it to compute your Procrust ANOVA. But for this lecture, I'm going to add them together to do it once and for all, so that you see, because at the end of the day, the only difference is that the number of landmark data, the number of observations will be different. Normally, it's supposed to be 54 observations now, I mean, in your analysis, but it will be more than that because of landmark data, error assessment data that is added. So let's copy this error assessment data now and add. Let's copy this now. So I click here. So now I'm adding this now. So we have 66 total 66, excluding the column, the first heading. So we have 66 observations now instead of 54. So don't forget that I added this to expedite the process instead of coming back to do it again and again. So that's why normally I'm supposed to do this first, then I compute the analysis. Then if I want to compute my error assessment, then I will now add this to it, then I compute it. So but now I just add it together to compute so that we can see how it is done once and for all. So let's save this as a CSV file. We export this as CSV file. Then we save it there. So we now import into our Morpho to see how to visualize our landmark data. So don't forget that this is a NTS format file, and it could be saved as tab delimiter or comma delimiter. So let us, or even a TST only. So let us save this one as a CSV file now. So I'm saving here in that this 3D base folder. I call it a, look at it, command. All right. So I click, I give it new name, CSV. Okay. I save. Okay. Yes. So now we have saved this as CSV file. All right. Don't forget the naming notations, the naming patterns of this particular ID of all these specimens. Don't forget, it's very important, especially in Morpho. You see, you must name them accordingly. You see, I named them the ID number is 3, okay, 3 characters, F01, F02, F0. Don't mind the sequence, so it doesn't matter. F0, 10, 11, 12, 13, like that. So it's just 3 characters in number. Also the same thing with a male, 3 characters. All right. Apart from the error data that is different, though it has own F01, F02 accordingly, but we added a CC to it just to differentiate the error data from the normal landmark data. All right. So you can add your own anything to your own, maybe ER to be error, ER. Okay. You can add maybe anything you want to AA just to differentiate your landmark data from error assessment data. So the same thing follows. So let's import this to Morpho. Let's go to Morpho and see how to visualize the 3D data. So we click on File, New Project. Let's call this a 3D project, 3D landmark. So select 3D here, 3 dimension, okay, 3D DB. So we are going to choose test here. Don't choose NTS, don't worry. You should test here because we are saving this as CSV file, not just NTS. So if you save it as .NTS, fine, you can choose this one, okay. But now we are saving it as .tst, so we just choose, CSV, just use test file. So it sees CSV file, tab delimiter file, and tst file together as test file. So we locate our drive where we save. So this is it here, okay. So we create. So it's showing there's no error here. Now if there's any error, it will give you error here. So it means everything is read here successfully. Now lines, 67 lines read, okay. So we now go to project tree tab. We select our data set that we brought in now. So we now like I said before, we are going to perform a GPA first, general pro-cost ANOVA analysis rather. So we click here, we perform what is called new pro-cost fit. So as we click here now, so under the align by general components to be under in this setting, then you click on perform pro-cost fit. So we click here. So this is what is called GPA. We have just done now. General pro-cost analysis, which is also called what is called a superposition of landmark data. So we have superimposed landmark data now. It has given us a mean shape of the entire data set. All right. So this particular one now, we have this SS 2 and 3, 2 to 3 versus 2 versus 3. That is what we majorly need. Okay, with this one we don't need this particular side of this axis. So we don't need this cranial size, cranial shape area. We only need this. So this can be flipped. Can also be but don't worry about this for now. So when we get to the PCA, we can see that later. But now we have complete our GPA. So what we need to do now is to perform PCA. Okay, without performing GPA, we cannot do PCA on any landmark data. So now we have done we have superimposed our landmark data now. So it has brought them to the origin, 0 origin. So we can see that this is our mean shape now. So we can now perform PCA. So let's do that now. And before we perform PCA, we are going to generate covariant matrix first. Covariant matrix. So we click here. So we select our data set. We click on execute. So it is done. So we can now go here and find our PCA. So under variation, we click on PCA. This principal component analysis. We click here. So this is our PCA now. So under our PCA, we have what they call eigenvalues and and PCA score. Okay, these eigenvalues. So we have our graph here. Okay. So this one is turning our principal component chart graph. So this one, this principal component. Okay. If you go to the result, let's see from the top. So giving us the details about our landmark data. Okay, we have 113 landmarks. Don't forget that is correct. We have 13 anatomical landmarks, and we have 100 semi-landmarks. So which amount to 66 observations. Okay, we have excluded the heading. That makes it 67. So no more heading. So we have 66 observations now. Okay, because it's supposed to be 54, but because we included our error assessment data, that's why it has increased to that level. So this is the average axis of each of them, average shape. So we look at this PCA value. We have eigenvalues, we have a variance, we have cumulative variance here. So you can see with non-zero variability. So this is our PCA. So we have a PC1, PC2, PC3 account to 61%. Okay, this PC1 to 3. So we can see that at PC10 we have 86%. All right. So when you look at the graph again, chart again, you can see here, which means the PC1 has PC1 have 28. Let's say 28. Okay, let's go back and see. PC1 have 28, correct. PC2 20, PC3 12. So the same thing in graph A, you can see 20, then this one 12. Okay, so you can see how we can. So you want to pick your number of PC now. We can look at it from here where you begin to decline here. You can see how you begin to decline here. So for me now, you can pick, depend on what you are doing, what you are working with. You can pick this 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I think is good enough for shape variability to account for the total shape variation. But you can still pick more pieces. Okay, you can still pick more. But depend on what you are doing until you begin to die down to this place. So this is our principal component. All right. So this is the shape of PCA. So when we go to the axis now, the axis we are talking about is 2 to 3. So this axis now, you can flip this axis. Let's flip. Okay. So this is the shape of this is the nose, this is the mouth, this is the head. Okay, so as we flip now, all those red are the numbers of the landmarks. Okay, this is stick. You are seeing blue in color, in light blue here. They call them lollipop stick, okay, or candlestick, which shows the variability, the direction of the shape, how things go. Okay, that is the candlestick. It means it gives you some notations here, which I will explain later. So now this is our PC. You can export this out by clicking here. Just say export to graph. Okay, you can save as a SVG scalar vector graphic. So you can save it as a PNG or BPM or JPEG or GIF. So you can save it to use in our report or in our manuscript very easily. So you need to crop out the white background out and place it in your document. So now this is what we call. So now this is our PCA score, this scatter plot, okay, this one shows the arrangement or distribution of the specimen in morphospace. So how the specimens are distributed in the morphospace, okay, though they are together here now, we cannot see, so we have to use a color to separate them. So before we do that, we need to first group our data set which we have brought. We need to categorize them because we have male and female, which is sex. So we need to categorize them, then we can now apply color to them. So, and at the same time, that will also help us to prepare for our Procus ANOVA, for our landmark error assessment. So let's see how to perform this now. Okay, don't worry, when we come back later, we will do that. So let's keep this for now. I will do that when we return. Thank you so much.